wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. And we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We have Tyshawn Jones. On his sheet, it says he is the first black professional skateboarder. Is that true?
No.
No, that's what I said. It can't be the first black. I'm like,
whoa. That's Lil Wayne.
Hell no. No, not the
But
first
you are a
black.
professional skateboarder.
Correct.
Now, how do you get to a quote-unquote professional skateboarder title?
Well, I always explain it to people like music, you know what I'm saying? Or not like music, like basketball. So there's phases. There's 3 phases. First you go flow. Mm-hmm. Let's say that's like high school basketball. Then you go amateur. Mm-hmm. That's college. And then you go pro. Mm. That's NBA. Okay.
And what makes you pro? Is it?
It's just a company, a board company has to turn you pro.
Got you.
So like that's the way the culture is. Like your skateboard company is who determines when you go pro.
And is your company like an agency, or is it just like a governing company that looks at like what you've been doing, like track record competitions, or?
No, it's like a company that like you would be sponsored by this individual
Gotcha.
one. So like I don't know, like I'm trying to explain it in a way that y'all would maybe remember. Like you remember like Zoo York.
Yep.
So Zoo York is a skateboard company, or was previously. I don't think they make skateboards anymore, but Zoo York would turn you pro if you were sponsored by them. So that'd be like basically like your team picking you up to go to the A.
And it's a very lucrative business. That's why I don't understand why more people don't, get involved in it.
Yeah, I think it's lucrative in a sense. Like certain people, it's wishy-washy. Some people get paid, some people don't really get paid. It's kind of like, it depends. It just depends who you are and I guess your image.
I first heard about you, sadly, through some drama. When you got kicked in fucking Paris.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what I did. 'Cause I was like, New York pro skateboarder Tyshawn Jones kicked off his bike by a stranger while riding in Paris. And then when I saw the video, I'm like, oh, he black.
Yeah,
Like-
that was very interesting occurrence.
Why was that? Did you ever find out what that was about?
So I never told the full story. I just kind of put it on Instagram because it was funny to me. I was like, because people, like, that like when stuff happens, it's like, people is not going to believe this if I tell them. Like, so, and it just so happened my agent got a video. He's not my agent. He's my team manager for Adidas. I'm sponsored by Adidas. So.
Oh, I thought it was just a random person who had got it on video.
No, so I'm going to tell you
okay.
the full story. So, and usually I'm deep. Like, I'm with like a bunch of my friends and we was in Paris. We go eat or we go into the shows and stuff. We 10 deep. We ride around on the bikes. The one day I'm alone, I'm not alone, but I'm just with somebody who's not about that life at all. So I'm with my team manager from Adidas, and he's like, let's go get breakfast. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, let's ride. He's like, you want to take a cab? I'm like, no, let's just ride bikes because Paris traffic is crazy. So we get downstairs, we grab the bikes, we're riding the bikes, and we get like 2 blocks from the hotel, and I'm wearing the Victor hoodie. Steve is my manager, so he deals with Steven. So he's like, I'm going to film you because I'm going to send Steven a video of you wearing the hoodie. But before he started filming me, I have my skateboard and I have a bag in my hand. So like in Paris, the bikes, they're not like city bikes. Like they don't have a strap. So I have the skateboard in the bucket and I'm holding the bike with my other hand. So like my what's the word I'm looking for? My balance is off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm biking kind of slow. And then there's this guy's like trailing me and I'm like, yo, go in front of me, bro. Like you see, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Go around. I got like a lot of stuff in my hand. So he comes to the side of me and we're like face to face and he's like, you fucking American, blah, 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 blah. Like, you get in my country, da, 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 da. And I'm
How
like,
you know you was American?
my accent.
Your accent, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know you was
so-
talking. Okay.
Okay, so my team manager from Adidas is behind me.
He's filming.
He's not filming at this point. He's just like behind me. And I look at him and I give him a look, like I look back at him because he know like I'm not going for that. So we look at each other and he's like, please, Tyshawn, no. And I'm like, and I look back at the guy and he's like screaming at me and I'm like, get out of my face or it's gonna be an issue. And then he's still going and I'm like, so I kind of just like push him away from me. Like I give him like, I'm like, move. He bikes off. So whatever, we're like, we're just biking now. We bike like 5 blocks down. Like the full video is like a minute long. We're biking, and the guy must have biked off, waited to the side.
Oh.
And I'm like, we get like 6 blocks down, and I'm just like biking. I'm just going to get breakfast with my team manager from Adidas, who's like a German guy, who's like the most peaceful guy in the world. And this guy, I just get kicked off the bike out of nowhere. I'm just biking, I just fall on the floor. So I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I get up and I see the guy like zooming on the bike. So then I look at my team manager and I'm like, it's over. Like, I don't want to hear nothing. Like, I'm going to get him. So I grab my bike and I start chasing him. But you know, we from New York, so
You don't know where you're going.
No, not that. He has like one of those bikes with like the like a throttle.
Oh, electric
so
bike.
it's way faster than my bike.
He moving on you.
So you trying to go.
So I'm trying to get him.
He had a Ferrari
Yeah,
bike.
it was like a movie. Like I see him, but he's like fading away, and he makes a right. And when I get to the corner, let's say 10 seconds later, it's like 3 ways. It's like this way, or this way. So I'm like, which way did he fucking go? So then I just go straight, and I don't see him, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I was like, people like I was biking, I'm like trying to find this guy. Someone's like, yo, what's up, Tyshawn? I'm like, oh my god, someone's gonna see me like fighting this guy in Paris. But I couldn't find him, so I had to give up.
And you gotta take your L.
Yeah, no, it was funny.
You pushed him first.
I mean, I didn't push him. It wasn't like I was just like, get out of my face. I wasn't like, I didn't start him. I was like, you know, you in my, you know, somebody coming up to you and they screaming at you, you're gonna be like, yo, just back up. What you doing? It wasn't like I was like, you know, because I didn't want to be on that type of timing with, you know.
Yeah.
So
And he laid and waited for you. Yeah, I got something for you, Mr. Skateboarder. Kick push, nigga.
you know how many calls? you know how many calls I got? Like, yo, you allowed that to happen? I'm like, are you like? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like that didn't go down the way it looked. But then when I got to breakfast and he showed me the video, I was like, airdrop me that. Like, I have to post that. Like, it was just too funny. Like, sometimes you have to laugh at yourself. Like, I don't take myself that serious that I'd be like, it's nothing I could do. When I'm gonna go around Paris and look for this guy. Like,
So when you said, why would you do that, you didn't realize it was the guy you had just got into it at first.
no, I was playing. I was trolling.
Oh, all right. Okay,
No, I
okay.
was just messing around. I knew why he did it. I mean, even though I didn't think, I really did anything to him, he started with me. He was cursing at me and like screaming at me in French, calling me a effing American. But yeah, that's the full story for the world.
Damn. Now, how did you get into to skateboarding? And when did you think it was going to be a business? Because, you know, most people, you know, they skateboard, they ride bikes for fun as a kid. But when
Yeah.
did you say, oh, this is a business, this is going to be my life?
So I'll tell you the story how I got into skateboarding. It's really funny, actually. So my brother at the time, he's still my brother, but we're not cool. That's another funny story. But
Damn.
we were at his grandmother's house, and her nieces and nephew lived there. And you remember those TVs that like was kind of built in, not TVs, but it'll be a TV, and it's like the
Got the speakers and stuff under. It's like
speakers, and then it had like cabinets where you
The
could
big
put
screens,
stuff.
yeah.
Exactly. And then it had like, remember like the CD things, the books you could open up.
I was born in 1978.
Exactly.
Act like you don't know. You remember?
So y'all
He remember when
remember
that
those.
came out. He remember when that came
Exactly.
out.
So it was one of those. They had that, and they just had a bunch of video games in it, and we wanted it, and we knew they wouldn't like ask us. I mean, they wouldn't give it to us, so we were like, let's take it. So we took like a couple of video games and put it in my private parts, so like if they started looking for it, they wouldn't know where it went. We just
The way,
like,
you
we don't know
make
what
it, the
happened.
way you make stealing sound, like you just
We
made it
just
sound
wanted
like,
it.
yeah, you was just cool. I just took it. Like you make it
We were
sound so
kids.
innocent.
We were like, nah, I was like, nah, he was probably 13. So we took the video games, and one of them happened to be a skateboarding game.
I thought you
Tony
were gonna say
Hawk
what if it was a
joint?
porn. I
Not
thought you were gonna say
Tony,
what was a
not
porn.
Tony Hawk. It's called Skate.
Mhm.
Okay.
It was just called Skate. They have Skate 1, Skate 2, Skate 3, and they're finally making a new one after like a decade. So I started playing the video games, and when I played the game, I was like really into video games. We didn't really go outside. I lived in Jersey at this time, and I learned about skateboarding, kind of like the tricks and stuff from playing the video game. And one day it was like summer, and my mom came home, and she was like, all y'all do is play the video game. Like, y'all need to go outside. And we were like, we don't have no money. So she gave us like $60 each, and then we walked to Target and bought skateboards. And then from there, I just kept skating and skating. And I was probably like 9, 10 at the time. I didn't really know I could maybe make money off of it till I was like 14 when I
signed with
started getting
Supreme.
paid. Yep,
Which-
signed with Supreme.
Before you signed with Supreme, what was your connection to like fashion and like the arts? Because I think you talked about people in your in skateboarding make money based off of kind of like your look and kind of like the brand. People know you for like your look, your brand, your fashion as well too. Like, what was that connection before you started getting the brand deals?
I mean, I'm raised in New York. I'm from Bronx, Harlem, so I feel like just like style and all of that has been around. So, just watching my family and stuff grow up, I was always getting fly and stuff. So, I feel like my mom always kept me in like good clothes and stuff. So, I would always have like cool gear to skate in, and then I guess that, potentially moved on into me skating in it and then getting noticed, and then yeah.
How did you convince your mom that this could actually be a profession?
I had to beg her, honestly. I remember when the first deals was coming around, even signing with Supreme, like the money was so small. Like she was like, they trying to play you. You look up on Google, they worth, I think at the time it was 40 million.
Your mom's definitely from New York.
Yeah,
sounded
she was like,
that.
they not about to play my son, da 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 da. And I used to like cry. I had to beg her, like, just please trust me. Like, I'm not doing this for money. I would do it for free. Like, this is like, it's gonna come. I just have to like build my name. I knew that if I like grinded one day, I could potentially make money and like make some real money. But it wasn't really about the money to me at that time. I was just young and I was like, I would do this for free. So, I just needed the opportunity.
I love stories like this because, I always say you just got to listen to your kids, and your kids will tell you exactly what it is that they want to do. So you was playing this skate game, and then when you got this money, you went out and you bought this skateboard. Like, what was in your mind? Like, what was on your spirit that said, I know this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is what's going to change the trajectory of my life.
Well, I remember it was like a definitive moment where I like made a decision. And I was young. I wanted to be a wrestler. And I wanted to be Spider-Man too. Like that's what I was into. Like I used to really like Spider-Man. I thought that was a profession. And
Miles Morales or Peter Parker character?
Nah, Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, Peter Parker. And then I wanted to be a wrestler as well. And then but I was skating, so I was like, my mom was like, which one are you going to be? And then I was just like, we moved back to the Bronx. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to just skate. Like, that was the most fun to me. And I just stuck with that. So, yeah.
And there was a period where it's like hip-hop really, I guess, kind of made skateboarding, I guess, cool. Or maybe I'm not going to say cool because it was already cool. But when the hip-hop artists started doing it, it kind of made it easier for you as a black kid to be doing it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like growing up in the Bronx and stuff, people be like, make references. Tony Hawk, obviously. Who else skated? Lil Wayne,
We see
stuff
Wayne,
like that.
yeah.
Lupe,
Yeah. I feel like, but
Pharrell.
even though like Lupe, he's known, but I feel like certain people where I'm from, at least, I'm not gonna say they don't know Lupe, but that's not like first to mind. Like they'd probably be like, yeah, like Wayne, and I don't even
Like
know
I seen
who else.
Pharrell because
They would say kick push, but I don't
think they put two
I
and
don't
two
think they
together.
put two and two together.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they even know who sang that song. It's just more like a famous song.
What did that do for skateboarding culture, from your perspective?
I mean, that was already like out, so I didn't see it firsthand. But I don't think skateboarding was accepted where I grew up. Like, it was like people used to just like kind of laugh and thought it was like funny that I skated, but I was into it. But I remember I kind of lived like two lives, like, because I grew up in New York and like having like family in the streets and stuff, so they always kept me fly. So when I would go to school, I would wear like Jordans and like stuff like that, but then I would go home and like put on my skate clothes. And it was kind of like I had a double life. Like, I would go to school in the Bronx in like this crazy environment, and then I would like go home, change my clothes, take the train all the way downtown, and it was like a different world for me. Like, it was white people, Asian people, all different type of races just brought together by skateboarding. It's not really like color and skateboarding. Like, it's just like everybody kind of having fun. So
I used to get into it a lot too. Like I would always see, I feel like people always thought skateboarders was soft.
yeah.
Right? And I would always see skateboarders fuck somebody up all the time with them
Yeah.
skateboards, beat somebody's ass and beat somebody's car up. Did y'all always get into problems or trouble where people thought y'all was soft or cut y'all off or?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think like people don't associate skateboarding with like being tough, but you know, it's just like that's anything. You know, I'm not saying that people walk around like I'm a tough guy, but niggas not soft. It's just like, but like a skateboard is a weapon. If you hit somebody with a weapon, like I've known people who hit people with skateboards and like put them in a coma. Like you don't even play with that. Like it's like a metal object that could really hurt somebody. So that's like if you have to do that. But obviously, like you see in kids, they hit the guy with the skateboard and stuff. It's happened, but it's really dangerous.
It's funny too. You said you used to get fly, but then you go home and dress like a skater. But there was a time where that was getting fly for some people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the transition. Like, at first, like I used to wear skate stuff, and they would be like, "That's like you look like a white boy or whatever." But then it kind of like got popular, you know, with like streetwear and all that stuff, and then it was more accepted. So it was funny to see the transition, but it's dope when, you know, to me, some skaters don't like it when they feel like people come into the culture, but I think it's cool. It brings more eyes to the sport and all of that stuff. So
was Virgil? I read that you and Virgil Abloh had a really good relationship.
Yeah, we were cool.
Speaking of streetwear.
Yeah, we were actually working on something before he passed away. It never came to light, but yeah, Virgil was cool. We would talk, and we were gonna do a collaboration with my brand and Off-White that we were working on, but yeah, his untimely demise, it never came out.
When stuff like that happens, do you just let the whole idea die, or do you?
I mean, I really didn't I didn't know what to do. Like, you know, at that time, what was it, 2021? I remember my modeling agent called me and told me, but I wasn't gonna be like, you know, people are grieving and stuff like that. I'm not gonna reach out to his family or like, yo, sorry for your loss, but by the way, we were working on it. You know what I'm saying?
Get them tech packs.
Yeah, exactly. Like at that point to me, it was like, you know, if somebody from his team knew about it and they reached out and was like, I knew you guys were working on this, like we want to continue it, but that never happened, and it's okay, you know.
How much do you have to hurt yourself to get as good as you have gotten? Like how many falls, injuries, broken bones?
Knock on wood, I never broke a bone.
Okay.
But you fall and stuff. Like I just think skateboarding teaches, like it's like a life lesson. Like you have to keep going to get over the hurdle. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If I had $1 for every time I've heard like, yeah, I tried skateboarding once, but I fell and I quit. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't like to fall once or twice, and then they're just like, oh, that hurt. But like you get used to it. It's like working out. When you first start working out, your body's really sore, and you keep doing it and you keep doing it, and you get used to it, and you learn. You just have to like wanna, you know what I'm saying, strive to get better.
I was asking, you know, what do you do to push the limit, right? Because I've seen a lot of things you did. You work with Louis Vuitton, right? You with Stephen Victor.
He's a friend of the house.
Friend of the house. I've seen you jump over $1 million Ferraris in the middle of Manhattan. So what do you do to push the limit for the next generation, that, you know, things that we haven't seen or things that you want to do?
I just think it's limitless, you know, like even like to the Ferrari, let's just use that as an example. Like I try to, when I skate, I want to like make it relatable, because skateboarding to me is so, what's the word? It's just like, you don't understand it. You just see like somebody flying in the air. And I think that skateboarding gets like, culturally it's like accepted because people understand it's cool, and it's like the, like, you know, like, I don't know, some people won't call it a sport, but it's the sport that like the outsiders, because you do it alone, it's individual, where like basketball or something like that, it's a team, and you go to a stadium and stuff like that, and it's more, you could dissect it easier. Like, you know, somebody's running down the court, they pass, they shoot, it's 2, it's 3, you know what I'm saying? Skateboarding, you can't learn everything. It's impossible, because there's like combos. You could jump onto this table and manual and this, that, you know what I'm saying? So it's literally impossible to be able to do every trick. So, and I think that's why I gravitated to it as well, because, you know, to me, I like to keep setting the bar. But
you still learn new tricks? You still do new things? Or
oh man, it's kind of hard, because I mean, I try to learn new tricks. Sometimes I get new tricks, but now I'm at a point, like, you know, it's a gift and a curse, but I go to the skate park and people watch me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind
You can't
of,
just like run.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a little like weird sometimes trying to learn a trick because people look at you at this point like you're a professional. Like they think in their mind like you probably could just land everything. So when you're trying to like go into the like I'm trying to train kind of vibe at like a public place and somebody might be filming you or this, it's just kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? You don't see, you know, Luca in the park practicing. You know what I'm saying? He has a private facility where he's training and he could try to learn new things. So I'm working on that right now to try to get a private indoor skate park so I could practice.
Are there new tricks though?
I mean, yeah, not new tricks, but tricks you probably haven't done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm sorry to keep referring back to basketball, but like, you know, somebody might not be able to go left as easy, or you know what I'm saying? So they could practice that, or they can't dunk through their leg. You know what I'm saying? So it's impossible to know everything. You know, as good as you are, you could always progress. So, you know.
I know Charlotte asked about what was the LV, the friend of the house thing. I told him you would explain it. And Pharrell brought you into that. Was it because of the Virgil relationship or just because he's been like watching what you've been doing?
I'm sure. I don't know if it's because of the Virgil relationship. I think he's just a fan of skateboarding. He obviously skateboards. He likes the sport and the culture, and probably thought I was a good representative for the brand. And I guess I'm sponsored by Louis Vuitton.
Does it mean you do events with them? They send you clothing?
Events, clothes, go to the shows, campaigns, stuff like that. So yeah, money. Yeah.
Are black people accepted in the skating? Like, is it one of those things where it's just?
Yeah, I think black people is accepted as skating for sure. I mean, I don't think there's like a lot of professional black skaters, maybe like 20, 25, but yeah, we're accepted, yeah, for sure.
And what's the evolution of skateboarding, and really the evolution of you? Because you know, when I hear things like Skate 4 is coming out, I'm like, well, damn, are you in that? Is there gonna be a film about?
I don't know.
TV show? Like,
I'm in a Tony Hawk coming out, so that's cool. Dope, they got a new one they remastering, so that's about to come out. I was in the last one. The evolution of skateboarding, that's a great question. I don't know. It's in the Olympics now. You know, I just think it's getting bigger and better. Like Louis Vuitton is sponsoring it, so I'm excited to see where it goes. And maybe it does get to a place where it's like a basketball or a football, and people really dive into it more and look at it, and you know, try to understand it a little bit more. Besides just like skateboarders are cool, or like have like a fashion aspect to them. So, honestly, it's unknown where it could go. I think the sky's the limit.
And Tony Hawk's still the guy, right? Like is he the godfather of it all? Like,
for sure.
Okay.
It's interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody. It's interesting that he's the only, like, he made it like really mainstream. Like when people think of skateboarding, they refer to him. Yeah. But it's only been one. Like, you know, like imagine music when people thought of rap, they just like Biggie.
Right.
Biggie.
Yeah.
You want to be like Biggie, but there's 1,000 rappers. You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show like how like skateboarding is just weird in that way that it hasn't been like everybody who's like super famous off skateboarding, they got famous doing other things. Like Tony Hawk, he's so famous because of the video games. Rob Dyrdek is Rob Dyrdek because he had the TV show. So I think there's always another element to like getting over to that real mainstream level. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody's ever successfully did it just being a skateboarder.
That's how you know somebody famous. I'm watching the Super Bowl commercial, the DraftKings commercial. I think it was this weekend. Was it this weekend?
Last weekend.
Last weekend? And it was Kevin Hart was in it, and The Undertaker, and Emmett Smith, and Ludacris, and Dr. J, and Tony Hawk. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, that's Tony. And like, you don't even think about it, but that's just how famous he is. Because I'm not in the skating.
He's a name at this point. It's like he's huge.
I actually said to myself, damn, Tony Hawk got old.
Yeah, Tony Hawk is grown. So it's, I mean, that's what when I was having a conversation with my peoples, he was like, who's gonna carry that sword forward? I'm not saying that's gonna be me or whatever, you know, but it would be interesting to see who's able to obtain that level next. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna be the next generation of skateboarding that the Charlamagne or the Envies? Like, do you want to be the, you know what I'm saying? Because it only refers back to Tony Hawk.
I don't even know how I know Tony Hawk.
Exactly.
I think I know him from the
video
games. I mean, he's commercials?
I really don't know. I've known him my whole life, but I don't know. I'm like, why do I?
I feel like he's like Shaq at this point, or like a Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Like he gets
Just
like
the name,
endorsements.
yeah.
Like he's like on a, I don't know, like a what's the Axe commercial or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like he's like famous in like Middle America and all of these places because like they really watch TV and all of those things.
I wonder what gets you to that.
I think again it has to be another element because I think skateboarding, you don't understand it. It's just flying in the sky, or you doing a trick, or he jumped down some stairs, or oh that looked crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you don't skateboard, you don't understand it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Do you like, because it's not a lot of black skateboarders, do you ever have issues sometimes where like people are like there's discrimination, racism, like that type of thing? Like, do you come up against that at all? It seems like you're doing very well. You have all the major brands, but even with like the LV thing, there's always like the push for more black in the couture spaces, but you're couture in that world and you're also a skateboarder, and people are always, we don't know much about the skateboarding.
I wouldn't say like in a brand space. I mean, obviously I've experienced like weird things throughout my career. I've been in skating since I was 13, and, but it was maybe from like other pro skaters, but it not like from like companies or anything, I would say, but I wouldn't make it like a race thing, like, oh, it's so like diverse, but certain things happen sometimes when you in spaces and stuff, and it wasn't like anything super catastrophic, but like,
I just wonder because we don't hear much
thing.
about it. Like, we don't hear much about, like with the NFL, there's so much conversations, and NBA, I've never heard anything pro skateboard. We got to rage against the machine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if there is, like, skateboarding is so small that, like, even if there are things that did happen, people don't really want to speak up because skateboarding is, like, controlled by, like, the people, the OGs who had the market for so long.
Gotcha.
So it's like, if you come out and you're, like, maybe controversial, then they could just, like, clip you. Yeah.
And I love your hoodie because, The Simpsons, that's another reason I think of skateboarding so much, because of Bart.
Yeah.
Was that any influence?
Nah, it was really just a video game. I don't know. This was a gift from a friend. But yeah, I never really watched The Simpsons, like a couple episodes, but yeah.
You saw Bart on the skateboard.
Obviously, yeah. That's like famous for sure.
Absolutely.
And how'd you connect with Steve and Victor?
Through a friend. I called a friend and I was like, I'm looking for a Ferrari or like a sports car that I want to jump over. I was like, I know your friend has some. Do you think he would like let me rent one from him and do it? And he's like, let me call you back. And I was like, all right. He called me back like immediately, and we were on three-way, and he was like, so tell him what you want to do. And I was like, I want to like jump over your car with a skateboard. Would you let me rent it? I'll like put some insurance, I'll put some money down in case something happens. And he was like, nah, that's what insurance is for. And I was like, all right.
Steven is crazy.
And he's like, that sounds fire. Like, let's do it. Let's meet. And a friend had been coming to New York because he was living in LA. And he was like, we're gonna go to his office. And then we came to his office, and he was like, so what do you want to do again? And I was like, just telling him, like, he's like, you think you could do it? I was like, yeah, I think so, like, for sure. And then he's like, all right, we're going to set it up this week. And then, like, 3 days later, we made it happen. It was just something I wanted to do. Like, I just have, random ideas sometimes.
You make it sound real light.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't a typical Ferrari.
Because,
it was
for
like
sure.
one of very few.
Being able to call a friend who gets Steve and Victor on the phone.
No, this Ferrari is about a $2 million Ferrari, probably $4 million right now. It has no top. It's one of those ones that there is no fixing it.
Yeah.
You fuck that up. It's a wrap.
But but that's why you say you make it sound like that. But it was innocent. It wasn't like so premeditated. Like I wanted to do it, but I didn't know that it was gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. No, not even just the car. I didn't know that like people would gravitate to it so crazy. I thought, you know what I'm saying? But it resonates, exactly how I said, like, you don't know tricks, but you know that car. You get what I'm saying? Right. So in your mind, you like, oh, shit, he just jumped over a $4 million car. You know what I'm saying?
And the way that I first saw it, I just thought it was the car was parked and you just did it rogue. I'm like, Then when I found out that, I said, Steven is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, he got too much money for all that.
So basically, Steven and Victor charged you 10 to 15% for the rest of your life just to jump over his car. Huh?
We made a moment. You know, we're trying to make more.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. And we love what you're doing for having me. Keep encouraging kids, man.
And I'm going to be honest with you, you're the only skateboarder I know right now. So I'm going to be watching you. And in my mind, you Tony Hawk. So when I bring up skateboarding now, I'm going to be like, yeah, Tyshawn Jones. You know what I mean? Killing it out here.
That's right.
Thank you for having me. And it's a real full circle moment. I'm not going to lie. I watch Breakfast Club on YouTube. Like, I be on YouTube when I go home and I watch you guys stuff. So really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I was going to bring a skateboard to see if you could teach us all a trick, but we too old for that.
First of all,
we heard
when I get the
we not getting back up.
When I get the skate park, y'all come through.
Say no more.
All right.
It's Tyshawn Jones. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.